Good evening. It will probably come as no surprise to you that Canada's 35th general election campaign is finally and officially underway tonight. Prime Minister Kim Campbell paid a visit to the Governor-General around 11 o'clock this morning, and the campaign got underway just a couple of minutes later.
When you ask people about her, you'll hear words like determined, unapologetic, driven. They'll tell you about her successful political career, her rise through the ranks to become the leader of the Conservative Party, or her position as the only female Prime Minister of Canada. When you research her, you'll see words like progressive, dynamic, trailblazer. You can read about her history of practicing law, chairing countless committees, and serving in every level of Canadian government. When you talk to her, she'll use words like inclusion, democracy, leadership.
The question of peace, stability in society, democratic values and protections is always something very important to me.
The majority of her life's work has been dedicated to the advancement of women, both locally and globally.
And the other big theme in my life was the advancement of women. My mother raised my sister and me to believe that girls could do anything, but to understand that it wasn't a universally accepted proposition.
Long before the era of social media movements like Time's Up, she was blazing a trail towards a more equal and just society.
This is an issue in which I don't agree with the government's policy, and that view is no.
She is a woman of firsts, beginning as early as 16 when she was appointed first female student body president at Prince of Wales Secondary, and later the first female Frosh president at the University of British Columbia. As the first female justice minister and Attorney General of Canada, she championed inclusion justice, which she describes as a justice system that reflects all Canadians and serves all people equally, including vulnerable and marginalized groups.
Kim was always concerned with the uneven opportunities offered to women. And when she was made the first Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Canada, one of the first initiatives was the organization of a national symposium on women law and the administration of justice. And that was held here in Vancouver, not Toronto or Ottawa.
She'd go on to serve as the first female Minister of National Defence and the first female Minister of Veterans Affairs, but still, she wasn't finished charging ahead. She chaired the Council of Women World Leaders, a global network of current and former heads of state dedicated to promoting good governance and gender equality.
Kim has been a trailblazer and a champion for women's equality her entire life. She's an exemplar and a role model for all of us, not only in her many public and professional roles, but also in her very generous mentorship and kind encouragement to so many of us who have looked to her for advice and guidance.
She served as president of the International Women's Forum, which strives to promote and advance female leadership around the world.
I remember distinctly her speech when she was running for the leadership of the Social Credit Party in British Columbia. I can even remember where I was sitting in front of my television. And the reason I remember that is because Kim Campbell gave what I think is one of the most significant speeches of a political leader, at least in my lifetime. And that is where she talked about the importance of substance in leadership.
It is fashionable to speak of leaders in terms of their charisma, but charisma without substance is a dangerous thing.
And to that point, I had never heard this discussed as a fundamental of leadership generally, certainly not as a fundamental of political leadership. And yet, as soon as she said it, it defined for me what leadership really is. And it's actually been something I've lived by. And I wish more and more people would listen to that speech.
She is also committed to educating the next generation of leaders. She has taught at UBC and Harvard's Kennedy School of Government, and in 2014 was appointed the founding principal of the Peter Lougheed Leadership College at the University of Alberta. The inaugural class graduated in the spring of 2017 and included a Rhodes Scholar and a CFL draftee. Early in life, most children are told they can do and be anything, that nothing is off limits. Right Honourable Kim Campbell has undeniably proved to us that anything is possible, and she wants to see us all go the distance.
I want to be shoulders that young women can stand on. So when the YWCA declares that I'm an icon, I feel, well, you know, what is an icon? An icon is something that you look to for inspiration, to be reminded of values, whatever. And I would love to be an icon that would encourage young women to go for it, that would encourage even not young women, you know, women of any age, to believe in themselves. So I see this recognition. At first, I'm deeply honored by it. And I think these kinds of things make you feel both, you know, quite elderly and quite inadequate, because you think of all the other amazing women who are out there. But if what I have done, if my career in some way is a kind of tile in the mosaic of progress and is something that young people can look to and take inspiration from, that would make me very happy.
Kim Campbell, an icon then, an icon now, an icon always.